Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be recapping my first round game that I played at the Lina Grumette Memorial. And so, from last tournament I gained about 10-15 rating points, and now my FIDE rating's at 1968. And the first round, I am a playing person who doesn't have a FIDE rating, so I thought let's try my best to win. So when you're playing someone who doesn't have any rating, you don't gain any rating, but you also don't lose any rating. So I thought I'll just try my best to get a good game. So I played the Queen's Gambit declined. Usually I play a sloth defense, but I thought let's just try something new for the first game. And so I decided to play what's called the Cambridge Springs, when you bring your queen onto a5. The ideas in this position were to get your bishop to b4 and get your knight to e4 and try to control the center that way. And so we went knight d2, which is the best move. I took the pawn. Now I'm attacking the bishop. So if he takes, this just wins a piece. He takes, and this is all normal. He plays bishop c4. I think it's slightly better to go knight c4 just out of tempo, which I would just go queen c7 if that happened. So, but he goes bishop c4, and now I see an opportunity to attack with tempo, and so now I can castle, which is exactly what happened. And then he castles, and now I go e5. So I saw this is a good opportunity if he took that I could take, and if he tries to go knight f3 to protect his kingside, I would then put my queen on h5. Maybe I can put my bishop on d6 and a bishop on g4, and just try to attack the white king. But he goes a3, I go bishop d6, and now he attacks my bishop. I trade out the knights, now I go bishop e7. He attacks my queen at b4, queen c7, and now rook a d1. And here I was kind of struggling to find a plan, but I eventually settled on trading these pawns and going bishop f5, pinning the knight to the queen, and now maybe I could go a5 in the future to try to get this open a file, and maybe get some weaknesses on b4 and a3, or I could just try to control the d file. Goes bishop d3, I go rook f e8, knight c3, I trade these bishops, and now the position just kind of equal. It's a bit dry, so I'm now struggling to find a proper plan. I could try and go a5, but he's also very quick with counterplay, trying to get control on the d file. So I decided to go queen e5, maybe induce f4 so I can go queen e6, and I can try to bring my bishop and attack this pawn. But that doesn't happen. He just goes rook f d1, and now I go a5. He goes rook d4, defending the pawn. I trade these pawns, and now I go rook a d8, fighting for control for the d file. He goes g3, creating some lift for his king, which is just like an idea, sort of like a waiting move in the structure. So I thought I'll just do the same thing, go g6. And now he goes knight e4. I go queen f5, pinning the knight to the queen. There's just a lot of moving around, just kind of waiting to see what my opponent will do because I don't really have a super solid plan. I thought I could maybe try some sort of h5, h4, maybe induce him to go h4, so now all his pawns would be in dark squares, which my bishop can then attack. But he goes queen c4 now. And here I knew he was trying to play some sort of knight d6 here, or trying to get his knight to c5. And I didn't really know what to do. If I just went queen e6 here, I thought I could just trade and go knight c5. And I just didn't see what I didn't want to trade everything, because then that would be horrible. Because then this is I'm defending everything, but only white can play for the win. White can bring the king in and try to just massage the position. So I decided to trade these rooks and go rook a8. I'm trying to get my rook to the back rank and trying to get my queen in his kings, try to come up with some checkmate idea, maybe. Maybe if he goes queen c3, I could go rook a2, I thought. But he goes king g2, stopping my queen from coming in, and now rook a1 doesn't really do anything, because then now he can go knight d6, which I was really worried about here. So I decided to go rook d8, and just figure out these rooks, and I'm now, I know at this point it's just a draw. He goes knight c5, and I thought, I see a variation that could just lead to a draw. I go b6, he goes knight b7, I go bishop e7, he takes the pawn, I take his pawn, queen takes b6, and I can just go queen e4 check and just like check along here. Like I saw this as like an easy out. I could just take the draw here. But then I thought I could also go b5, but then he had to move queen e4. Or wait, because actually after takes I can go bishop e7. After b5, he can just go like queen d4 here, and sort of just wait with the position. I can't really do anything to get to this pawn. So I thought I'm gonna go queen to e8 and try and see if I can get my opponent to mess up. And just that's how you win these types of positions. You just create practical problems for your opponent and get them to mess up. He goes queen e4, I go bishop f6, h4, h5, and it's just a little bit of maneuvering here. Finally, his knight can't go to c5 anymore. He goes knight f4 and I go queen d7. And here I saw that he could actually maybe take if he wanted to, but I didn't deem this as very good because I saw only maybe I could get winning chances, as I could still go queen d6, c5, try to get a passed pawn for myself. So he didn't do that. He goes queen c4, threatening this actually. So I go king g7, and now he goes queen e4. He's just waiting at this point, and it's sort of up to me to come up with the plan. So I go queen d6. I come up with a plan. If he just waits, I thought I could go bishop c3, attacking the pawn, and if he goes knight d3, I could maybe go f5 or something. But actually here he has queen c4. But I was going to come up with some sort of b5, f5 idea. So after queen c4, I then go b5, and here he goes queen b3. If he went queen e4, I actually had the same idea to go bishop c3, and I'm knight d3 defending. I now go f5. I have queen d3. I thought I could just take this pawn, and apparently the computer says that white can actually go knight d2 here. And after takes knight d4 and attack both these pawns. But I thought, but now seeing this now, I think this is still fine because I still get a passed pawn for myself. After this in b4, I'm just gonna try and push for the win here. But now he goes queen b3. If I go bishop b7, he now knows knight d3, and now I can get his knight there. So I thought let's just bring the queen in, queen b2, queen b1, and now bishop b7. I originally was thinking going bishop c3, but after knight d3, I didn't really know what I was gonna do here. I thought it would just be like a waiting game. Maybe I go queen e2, there's king g1, I go queen f3. It's just a waiting game once again. So I go bishop d7. The idea of knight d3, I could maybe try to go bishop d6 and control some of these key dark squares, so this knight can't really move. But I missed that he can actually go queen e4. And looking at this now, I probably should have taken the pawn, because now I have a passed pawn, and maybe try to do like queen c4 here, trade, and maybe try and get my king over here while I use this pawn as a distraction. That is an idea to win king and pawn endgames. But I didn't go queen d6, and now I allow him to get his knight to c5. I go bishop f6, and he goes knight c5. And I decide to attack the pawn. He goes king f1, and now I just go f5. And here in this position, actually, he can play the best move, queen e8, and I didn't even consider this move at all. The engine tries to say that white has some sort of flight advantage, but I think maybe this is actually a draw, now that I look at it. But he just goes queen d3, which I thought he would do. I decided my plan is I'm going to trade, and I'm just going to try and bring my king over there. And now he goes f3. He creates a weakness for d3, so I thought, why not just go and attack it? And if he defends, I'll just go bishop d6, and I'll attack both these pawns now. But now he makes a blunder. He trades the bishop, which is actually just losing now, because now I can play just move c5, and if he takes, which is what he did, if he doesn't take, I can just actually take the pawn. But now, since he does take, I go king d5, and now I win the pawn. And like I said before, I can now use this pawn as a distraction while I go win these pawns. King t3, b4 check, which is basically what happens. I maneuver, and now I get to go to the king side. He goes g4, and I trade. In this position, he resigned the game. So like a pretty solid game overall. My opponent played very well. He found this nice move, queen queen b3, and then when I played bishop b7, he finds this move queen e4, which is really accurate actually. So just like a really solid game overall, but I did create like a practical problem at the end with this like weak weak g3 pawn, and then maybe him thinking it was a draw, he took the bishop, but actually it's not, because I can actually go c5. So like I said, overall pretty solid game. I'm 1 out of 1, and it's a 6 round tournament by the way, and yeah, you'll see how I do in the next round. Next round's a pretty crazy game. So goodbye everyone. See you in the next recap.